A few months ago, when I was studying so I can make this video on what took the life of MKO, Abiola, of blessed memory, I was sitting close to a retired military officer in Dodan Barracks, okay, and was reading a book about the life of MKO Abiola and how he died, you understand? The retired military officer said to me, "You young boys think that everything is written in a book. You young boys think everything is in the book." When he said that, I looked at him. He sipped his drink and he was like, "I was there. That tea he was giving wasn't just a tea, but his heart was already weak. If you give a man with a weak heart, a man that his heart is already weak, if you should give him a push, just a little push, the heart does the rest of the work for you." In forensics, there is something called aggravated natural causes. Okay? Aggravated natural causes is a situation whereby you want to do something, but you don't always need a lethal dose. Maybe you want to take someone's life, God forbid, then automatically you don't need to take a full dose of cyanide to unalive a person. You understand? Just need enough. The tea might not have been the killer, but it might have been the trigger. Okay? I told the retired military officer, "General, science can find the poison, but it can't always find the intent." He just laughed and ordered another drink. Okay, now, what now took his life? Who is MKO Abiola? Who was he? What is he known for? MKO Abiola, in his peak, was considered one of the richest men in Africa, funding schools, building hospitals, and liberation movements across the continent. His campaign was built on a promise to end poverty, a message that resonated with millions. After his campaign, he won the June 12, 1993 election, widely considered the freest and fairest in Nigeria's history, but was never allowed to lead. Okay? Before he went into politics, he was a high-ranking executive for International Telephone and Telegraph IT team, showing his massive business intellect. He was unalived on July 7, 1998, the very day he was expected to be released after years of detention. They say power is not served a la carte. Okay? What am I trying to say? MKO Abiola was meeting with an American delegation including Susan Rice and Thomas Pickering when he suddenly fell ill. He complained of a bitter taste, asked for water, and collapsed shortly after. Within an hour, the man who carried the hopes of a nation was gone. The official autopsy conducted by an international team blamed natural causes, specifically a long-standing heart condition. Alright? But in the streets of Lagos and Ikoyi, the word cyanide was the only thing people believed. What happened? You see, if someone wanted to remove a figure without a struggle, potassium cyanide is the textbook choice. Imagine your body is a giant power plant. The workers in this plant use oxygen to create the electricity, called ATP, that keeps the heart beating. Cyanide, potassium cyanide, is a terrorist that enters the power plant and chains the doors. Specifically, it binds to an enzyme called Cytochrome C Oxidase inside the body's mitochondria. Even if your lungs are full of air, your cells cannot touch the oxygen. The person suffocates from the inside out. That is how potassium cyanide works. In a cyanide death, the blood is often bright red, kind of cherry red. Why? Because the oxygen is still sitting in the blood, unused. The body drowns in a sea of oxygen. It cannot breathe. So, that is possibly what happened in the case of MKO Abiola, there is another counter-argument. There is another counter-argument about what took his life. When the official autopsy was done, they found out that his heart was twice the normal size, which is hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. This happens from years and years of untreated high blood pressure, which he likely suffered during his 4 years in detention. And you know, a heart that big is like a time bomb. Under the stress of the meeting, his heart simply gave up. The international team that said that it was hypertrophic cardiomyopathy that took MKO Abiola's life did not look for cyanide, because cyanide is volatile. Cyanide leaves the body quickly. That is what I mean. Cyanide is volatile. It leaves the body quickly. If an autopsy was done on MKO Abiola immediately with the specific cyanide kits, the evidence can evaporate like steam from a teacup. This is why the debate will rage on for another 100 years. But it is most likely that it was cyanide poisoning.